All right, here is your USFL, 8 teams, logos, cities, everything from today's announcement on the Herd with Colin Cowherd. Fox Sports FS1, which owns the USFL. Remember, Fox News has nothing to do with it. Rupert Murdoch and Fox News is a separate entity from the regular Big Fox. But we have the 8 teams. We have 2 divisions. First, the North Division, and then we have the South Division. So your North Division teams are the Michigan Panthers, New Jersey Generals, Philadelphia Stars, and Pittsburgh Maulers. Interesting to say here. I mean, New Jersey Generals, New York, but no franchise per se that is stepping on any XFL toes. In the South Division, Birmingham Stallions, no surprise there. Houston Gamblers, that's XFL Roughnecks territory. Nolens gets a team, the Breakers, and another team, the Tampa Bay Bandits, now move into XFL territory with their franchise. And if I were to pick personally, my favorite from all the logos is the Tampa Bay Bandits. I think is my favorite. Let us know what you think in the comments. Also, according to Ben Fischer, the location of the first season will be announced shortly. Quote, Fox Sports said it would announce the location of the first season's games shortly. Well, we know, we've been reporting about it, you've heard about it, that Protective Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama will be the home of the USFL's first and second season, with the first season, all 8 teams playing there. Season 2, 4 of the teams supposedly will go to their home locations, but then the other cities will have the hub. And then in the third season, all the 3 franchises will be in their home areas. Kickoff is set for Friday, April 15th, 2022. That's your names and teams, at least in the first 3 seasons. I don't think they'll add anything to it. I wouldn't do that if I was them. In the USFL, other news that broke last week, Daryl Johnston, Mike Pereira, you've heard of them. Well, the Fox Sports announced who is doing things behind the scenes for the USFL. So Fox Sports CEO and executive producer Eric Shanks will serve as chairman. Brian Woods, we've heard his name, the former CEO. And notice, interesting, they said former CEO of the Spring League, so I guess the Spring League is no more. He will become president of football operations. Edward Hartman, he'll be the executive vice president of business operations. Daryl Johnston, former XFL guy. He is the executive vice president of football operations. And Mike Pereira will be the head of officiating. Quote, Fox Sports will announce that the new league was constituted and kick off in April. Johnston is the second former XFL employee, now part of the new USFL. We assume he won't be the last. Former Roughnecks team president Brian Michael Cooper is part of the USFL's legal team, and Johnston was the director of player personnel for the Dallas Renegades. He was also part of the AAF. So also, it seems like the Spring League is no more, as this is full-on USFL, and there's no room to do a Spring League. Now, when are the games going to be announced? When are the games going to happen? We said April 15th was the time, but now we also learned in Fox Sports' announcement this past week that games will be on Saturday and Sundays, but sometimes Fridays and Mondays as well. So they had a whole breakdown of all the things in the news going on with the USFL. Quote, there will be 8 teams in this North and South Division. Each team will play a 10-game schedule with teams in the same division playing each other twice and teams in the other divisions playing each other once. Locations for the games was not part of the announcement, but we know Birmingham will be the location. That will be the hub city. The USFL regular season will begin mid-April. We're talking about April 15th, and run through mid-June, followed by the playoffs. So you got April, May, June, and basically almost into July. You will have USFL games. Spring football is back in the United States. Something new we did learn with this announcement is that USFL games will be played on Saturdays and Sundays, just like the XFL did. However, there could be some, quote, special broadcasts on specific Fridays and Mondays. Perfect time to do something like that during the summer and that spring into summer months. I think that's a great call. Quote, we are extremely fortunate to have this extraordinary executive team of experienced executives to guide the new USFL's development as we move toward launch this spring, said Fox Sports CEO and executive producer Eric Shanks, who will serve as chairman of the USFL's board of directors. So now we have people behind the scenes. Now we have the date games going to be played. We have team names and the logos. Next up, we would assume shortly, I wonder, I mean, if I were them, I would try to get that out potentially as a water cooler topic and things that they could even talk about on Thursday during the NFL games, to get that Birmingham, Alabama announcement out there before Thanksgiving. Now, if you go to the USFL's website, the shop is still not all cranked up with all the new team names and logos. Hopefully they'll get that a little organized as we get towards Black Friday. You would assume, hey man, make some money off of your new merchandise. So let us know what you think in the comments of the new USFL's 8 teams, their logos, and all this USFL news. Are you excited? Are you ready for some USFL football before we kind of wait to get into the XFL season? It's going to be an interesting spring, my friends.